Imagine being a little girl with nowhere to call home. Imagine waking up before sunrise, not to play or to learn, but to be chased into the bush, to hide all day. Imagine being humiliated, bathed with freezing water from a hosepipe in the middle of winter, and fed stale food, all because your family was ashamed of your poverty. This is a heartbreaking story of a little girl and her grandmother. One that will open your eyes, touch your heart, and remind us all that poverty is not a crime, but cruelty is. The little girl was no more than 8 years old. Her eyes carried the weight of sorrow far older than her years. She lived with her grandmother, a frail woman whose strength had been tested too many times by life. With nowhere to go, they sought shelter at her aunt's house, hoping for kindness, hoping for family. But what they found was not kindness. Every morning before sunrise, the auntie forced them out of the house. "Go to the bush and don't come back until it's dark," she said coldly. "I don't want people to see you here." So the little girl and her grandmother would trudge into the forest and sit there all day, hungry, cold, and hidden, until the sun finally set. And when they came back, another cruelty awaited. Before the child could step inside, the cousins would drag her into the yard and turn a hosepipe on her. In the middle of winter, freezing water stung her tiny body like knives. She would stand there shivering and crying, while her cousins laughed. At dinner, the cruelty continued. Food was served in groups. Sadza was piled in one big plate and vegetables in another. Her cousins would eat first, their stomachs filling with the best portions. If the little girl reached for food, they would pinch her hands or scratch her with their long nails until she pulled away in pain. She was forced to watch them eat, her hunger growing unbearable. Only when they were satisfied was she allowed to touch what remained. Leftovers, dry sadza and soup with no vegetables or meat. Sometimes the cousins went further. They humiliated her by forcing her to remove clothes that her aunt had given her. "Those clothes are ours," they sneered. "They were bought by our father, not yours." Stripped of dignity, the little girl would sit in silence, swallowing her tears. She never told the elders. She couldn't. Her cousins had threatened to beat her or chase her and her grandmother out if she spoke. So she carried the pain in silence, her wounds buried in a child's fragile heart. Then one Sunday, her small body bent with fever. Malaria struck her, and the grandmother's desperate cries no longer be hidden. The truth spilled into the open. Neighbors, church members, and the community discovered what had been happening. The hiding, the hosepipe, the stale food, the cruelty at dinner table, and the humiliation she endured. The whole church congregation came to pray for the child. Voices rose to heaven, but hearts were heavy with grief and anger. Many were not pleased with the aunt. They saw her for who she truly was, not a woman of respect and honor, but someone who valued her status more than love, who had hidden her own blood in shame and allowed cruelty under her roof. For the first time, the aunt's mask of pride shattered. Overcome with guilt, she took the little girl, bathed her with her own hands, dressed her in her finest clothes, and wept bitterly. Her tears fell onto the child's skin as if she wished she could wash away all the years of pain. But the guilt did not last. When the little girl slowly recovered, the aunt told her and her grandmother to leave. "Go and find somewhere else to stay," she said. And just like that, they were cast out once again. The grandmother, weary but determined, searched for a place where her granddaughter would no longer be hidden or humiliated. At last, they found themselves at a strawberry farm. It wasn't much, but it was a place where they could live in peace, where the little girl could eat without fear, sleep without shame, and be treated like a child again. Her story spread quietly through the community, and it touched many hearts. It became more than just the child suffering. It became a mirror of the pain endured by countless children in silence. Children who go hungry while others eat. Children humiliated for being poor. Children who carry wounds that no one sees. And her story left behind a painful lesson. Poverty is not a crime, but cruelty is. What defines us is not our wealth, our clothes, or our reputation. It is how we treat those who have nothing to give us in return. Because in the end, no title, no status, and no pride will ever wash away the tears of a child. This little girl's story reminds us that poverty is not a curse, and it is never a crime, but cruelty leaves wounds that last a lifetime. If we cannot give riches, let us at least give kindness. If we cannot offer shelter, let us at least offer compassion. For no child should ever go to bed hungry, humiliated, or hidden in shame. Remember, it is not our status that defines us. It is how we treat those who have nothing to give us in return. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.